Welcome to another edition of our Arkansas Football Recruiting Report, and this is a special one. As always, we're joined by Otis Kirk, our Hogville football insider, but now we are joined by one of Arkansas's prospects, Jordan Crook. He's a three-star linebacker out of Duncanville, Texas. Jordan, thank you for coming on board with us today.
Oh yeah, for sure, always.
Now, I gotta start off by asking, you took your visit to Arkansas a few weeks back or about a month back. What did you like about Arkansas when you visited Fayetteville?
Honestly, the environment, the people, and just the coaching staff is like what stuck out to me, and I think that was like most key for me, like with Coach Sherry and Coach Pittman. Just being around me the whole time, just that kind of stood out to me, and that said a lot. As far as what stood out on my visit.
And you have 28 offers right now. Arkansas is in the mix of that. You have Texas Tech, Illinois, Michigan, Washington, Baylor. I mean, we could go on and name all of them, but you have a bunch of Power 5 offers. But the one you were at, you committed to Oklahoma State and then reopened recently. What was that decision for you to reopen your recruiting?
Honestly, I don't want to say I rushed, but I kind of was some things that I didn't look at beforehand that I probably should have looked at. That I discovered as I went on my other visits. Not just to Arkansas, but other places too. And just a little more research, and not so much about football, but a little more things around that, and things that surrounded that, and like I said, the outlook has changed, and that ultimately came down to me decommitting and opening back up.
Do you feel more prepared this time around, asking the right questions as you're going to these schools? Do you feel like now you kind of have a better idea of what you're looking for?
Yeah. Oh yeah, definitely. Like I said, just like I said, I overlooked a couple things, that I definitely should have looked at beforehand. Honestly, I was kind of I was just kind of overwhelmed by the recruiting process. Calling every day and stuff like that. It just kind of gets overwhelming. So it kind of, don't want to say I rushed the decision, but I was kind of done with it. Honestly.
It's hard when you have 28 schools calling you left and right all the time. It's a lot to balance. The one question I always love to ask is the fact that student is always before athlete, right? Student athlete. What is it that you want to, do you have an idea what you want to focus on when you go to college in terms of academics?
I want to try to get into business marketing. I think marketing would be a good thing for me. I feel like that's a tool that I'm pretty good at, talking to people, and that's just something I feel like I can build on. I think that'd be something that's good for me, honestly.
Now, the last question before I turn it over to Otis is obviously, like I said, three-star linebacker out of Duncanville, Texas. How do you describe your game when you're on the field? What type of player are you when you step onto the field?
Physical, hard-nosed, versatile linebacker. Honestly, I it's not too many linebackers who can, not just, play offense, but, I go from receiver to running back and, play a little bit of safety. I've did it all, as far as playing all the positions, and being just as good at those positions that I am at linebacker. I think the versatility is was best, key for me. Versatility and physicality, being able to hit people and, fill a gap and fly around and make plays, just a playmaker all around. I think that's what's the biggest thing about my game.
28 offers, three-star linebacker out of Duncanville, Texas. Now we're going to turn things over to our Hog football insider, Hogville football insider, Otis Kirk. Otis.
Yeah, and I will say this. Last spring, I watched a lot of film on linebackers, a lot of film. And I'm going to tell you what, this kid's one of the best linebackers in the country. I don't care what he's ranked. I watched a lot of film of linebackers, some ranked higher, some maybe ranked lower than Jordan, but he's as good as any of them. I really watched a lot of film. I did of linebackers. For people that don't know, Jordan, you're going to be a midterm enrollee wherever you go to college. Talk about getting a head start, letting that, getting a head start on your college career maybe before some of the others do.
Honestly, I feel like it's key. As I've gotten older, with the recruiting process, it really wasn't something that I kind of focused on. But as it came around, like the last couple of months and like the last year of my recruiting, it was like, me and my parents talked about it. I was like, yeah, this is crucial. And, the coaches, like, they've been pushing me to all the schools, like, man, like, you got to come in, you really can be key for us, make plays. Like, we're losing a lot of guys. It's key that you get here. So that's kind of where my head's been with it. Being able to learn the plays, get an early spring in, get developed, early overall. It's not just so much football, but, in the weight room and stuff like that. I think that's definitely key. If you're a guy that wants to play early.
What gives you the best chance to play early? I mean, we've talked about your strengths and stuff, but you're going to go to a Power 5, and what gives you the best chance of playing early? I mean, your linebacker, what really, or one or two things maybe that stand out that you say I can take, and it's not bragging on yourself, but just some you can take to the next level that you think is going to help you maybe be ahead of some of the others.
The two things I think honestly that's going to take me and that'll put me before is my mindset and my experience. Like I said, it's not too many people that that play at Duncanville and can say that they play.
Right.
The amount of P5 talent every week and going against the linemen that I go against every week. I mean, not even every week, every day at practice. So and the experience with that. As I've talked to a couple of my older teammates that have went on and came back, they were like, dude, like, Duncanville, like this it really prepared me. As far as like, it's almost like college almost. As far as, so I think that'll put me ahead a lot. But obviously got to come in and work and things like that. But those two things, like my mindset and my experience, and being able to play varsity, 6A since a freshman and start, I think that's key.
I know you liked Sam. I know you liked Michael, Coach Odom, and all those guys when you visited the coaches. What did you think about the Fayetteville and the Fayetteville area? Because that's important too to recruit. Because you're not going to spend all your time on the campus. If you came to Arkansas, what are some of the things you liked about the community and the area in addition to the football?
Definitely, like I said earlier, the people, and definitely, Fayetteville, it's a lot to do out there. I'm not much of a going out guy, but it was definitely it gives you the ability to go out, with being out there, and I think it's a nice setting overall, nice place to be. And I enjoyed my time out there. It was very nice.
Okay. Just what. If it came down to it at the end of the day, when you make your decision, what would be the one factor more than anything else, the one thing more than anything else that it's going to determine which school you choose?
My relationship with the linebacker coach.
Okay.
My relationship with the linebacker coach is going to be the determining factor, and the consistency in recruiting. And really, it's two things: the consistency of recruiting and my relationship with the linebacker coach. Those are going to be the determining factors on where I go.
How is the distance from Duncanville to Fayetteville? How is that for you? I mean, is that about the right distance where you can get home if you need to, but if you emergency came up, you can get home if you have to, but yeah, it's not right next door to your home.
Oh yeah, I mean, as far as driving, I think it's like 5 hours even, and right. the flight is like 45 minutes, so it's not big of a problem,
I'm not too smart. That's probably enough questions for me, I will say this again, man. I'm going to tell you, Jordan is one of the best linebackers out there and one of the best kids, too. I mean, just outstanding person, which is even more important than being a football player. He's going to have a great future no matter where he goes and whatever he does in life. And this is going to go way beyond football, too. I mean, beyond football, no matter how high or level he plays in football, he's going to have a great future ahead of him because he's just a great person.
Yeah, a lot of schools have been thinking the same way as you, Otis. 28 offers for Jordan. Obviously, Arkansas is one of those in the mix.
Right.
Jordan, we look forward to following your journey wherever it takes you Thank you so much for joining us, Otis, as well, for our Arkansas football recruiting report, guys.
Thanks, both of you. Thank you, Jordan.
Yes, sir.
Appreciate you, man. Be talking to you.